Everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. You're in the kitchen with KK. This is where we explore nutrient-dense food right in your kitchen and exploring food science, the science of food. I wrote a cookbook called Simple Cooking for Vitality, Bioenergetic Cooking. That's exploring the energy in living systems, which food is part of that. So we're going to be looking at both quantum physics and chemistry. It's really interesting. We're really finding out how powerful food is, and we have to make a difference. And that difference starts right here in the kitchen because it's so profoundly important to the success of your health for you and your family. So today, kids are back in school. We're thinking about quick breakfast. You as a parent, you might be rushed. You need things prepped. I prep this for many of my adult clients and young adult clients, and kids love it too. So we're going to do this today. And I know I've done it in the past, but I call it my overnight power protein oats. So it's not just rolled oats. We're going to be adding and taking into effect more alkaline forming ingredients in this recipe because oats are not necessarily alkaline forming in a strong way. They're not highly acidic, but they're not alkaline forming like some of the other ingredients we're going to be putting in. What do I mean by that? An alkaline body is where disease cannot thrive. So that's why fruits and vegetables are more valuable than meat, dairy, cheese, alcohol, and refined sugars and processed food and frozen food and all of that, which causes the acidic reaction. So not only is September start of fall, right? We're switching out of late summer. We'll move into fall at the equinox, which is coming up. It is National Children Obesity Awareness Month. It's getting really out of control. We're going to be moving toward 50% obesity within the next few years. And the primary effect is coming from our food and the fact that we're losing that metabolic process in our body. And also on September the 13th is Kids in the Kitchen Day, making it fun. So this is a fun recipe kids can get involved in. You've got to set aside a couple hours on a Sunday, a couple hours a week, and these things will build up. They'll get easier, but you set them aside. Your meal prep is so vitally important. Now, because it's fall, everyone's getting excited for pumpkin spice. So this brand of MALK, as you know, is the brand that I suggest that people use because it's clean. Now, almonds are an alkaline forming nut, one of the few next to chestnuts. Now, if you read the back of this, even this one, it's got filtered water, organic pumpkin puree, which I generally put in, and I'm going to add more, but this is available should you not have pumpkin. Organic coconut sugar, pure vanilla extract, vanilla beans, Himalayan pink sea salt, cinnamon extract, organic nutmeg extract, ginger, and clove. Okay, so this is a super clean pumpkin. Maybe you could just even warm it up and use it as some type of latte. Bring your readers to the store because you need them to see the ingredients. So we're going to use that. We're going to use some real pumpkin in here. Now, not only does pumpkin add a flavor, it's adding more fiber, it's adding potassium, it's adding nutrients in here, which you can check out from the back, which are really, really important. Potassium is definitely going to be high. Potassium is naturally alkaline forming in the body. Those micronutrients are what our bodies are missing. We're not necessarily missing protein or our macros. We're missing those micronutrients and antioxidants. That's what we want to shove into our body to help our cells self-correct and do the job they know how to do. So the simple blender. I have two blenders. I have this NutriBullet RX, which is 1600 watts of power. I use it for a lot. And I also have the other more expensive one. So, but I use this one quite a bit. I like the way it tips upside down. Anyway, this one is fantastic. The oats that I use, you'd see me. These are certified glyphosate and gluten-free oats. Not all of them are certified glyphosate-free. You want to make sure they are. And they're sprouted rolled oats. Sprouted, gentle, more gentle on your digestive tract, higher nutrient profile. Fantastic. So this is the brand I get. And I keep it in jars with my other stuff. We're going to be adding more protein profile, fiber, and nutrients to this. And this is what kids need. You can make or break your entire day based on what you're eating for breakfast or when you break your fast. Children are still growing. They need more nutrients than us adults. We need less food. We've got to, work on maybe extending that fasting time. But what you feed your body is what's going to fuel your brain. You're either going to spike that blood sugar and have a sugar crash with zero nutrients, which most of the cereals provide. Cereal and milk loaded with sugar and glyphosate. That's a real huge no-no. And it might taste good for 15 minutes, but it's giving the body nothing that it needs. Okay, so this is not only going to be fun because we're going to top it with antioxidant, low glycemic berries. I've got blueberries and blackberries behind me. It's blackberry season. They're on sale. We used to grow them in Vermont. So it's an August berry, late August. So this is fantastic. And I have jars out. This smaller, you always want the wide mouth. So this is I believe it's a 12 ounce. You can get these on Amazon. And then I have a 16 ounce here. Or this is an 8 ounce. And I'm going to show you how to prep this. So let's just put this together. Very, very simple. When I'm doing a lot of this in prepping, I'll either use half this full container or the whole container, depending on how many that I need to prep. You can freeze this. So you can make them every other Sunday. You have some in the freezer, some in the refrigerator. And so half of this container is just about 2 cups. I'm going to finish up the vanilla, and I'm going to measure it out for you guys. I usually just eyeball it. So I'm going to use a cup. I have a cup of the vanilla left, so I'm using that. And then I'm going to add in some of the pumpkin here because I'm going to use real pumpkin. So how fun is this pumpkin spice, right? We all love pumpkin spice season. It tells us that fall is here. We go crazy for it. But we don't want to overdo the sugar in many of these spiced drinks that are at the different stores. What we are going to do for sweetener is we're adding in juicy, organic pitted Medjool dates. These were just on sale recently at Whole Foods. What I do is I add a little bit of fluid, a little bit of organic filtered water to these and put them back into the refrigerator. That way they're nice and juicy when it comes time to blend these up. Just get the most juicy ones. For this recipe, we're putting in at least 4. Now, what do you want? You don't want this to be overly sweet because you're going to sweeten it with the fruit, and you want your children's sweet palate to come down. And so that fruit actually excites them. That's the dopamine rush. We get so hooked on our sugar addictions that we're no longer getting the same dopamine effect from it. And that's where some of the problems come in. So generally what I do is I just measure out. I'm going to put in 2 scoops of that, and I'm going to say that's about a 1/4 cup. And then I add the rest to a jar, a glass jar. I'm going to put that into the refrigerator, and then I'm going to use that for other stuff, which is perfect. That's why you should always have glass jars around. It just makes your meal prep and your storage so much better because we do want to get rid of the plastics. We can't get away from it. But if you can stop drinking water and plastic and using glass containers, you're going to start to help the problem that we are having with plastics building up in our bodies. Okay, so here's the genius part. Now, typically the overnight oats are 1 for 1, meaning if you use 2 cups of fluid, you use 2 cups of oats and you let them sit and absorb. Well, I'm not doing that because I'm going to be adding in other things that are filled with fiber, and we don't need that much, which is great. So we're going to start with This is a third of a cup, I think, this measure that I have. I've measured it out before. So I'm going to start with two scoops because I finish each of the jars by adding in a little bit of oats. And that way you get a little bit of the texture because this is going to break it up. Now, this is ground up pumpkin seed. Pumpkin seeds are highly alkaline forming in the body. Also, a super dense amount of amino acids. Alkaline amino acids, just 2 tablespoons is about 8 grams. So a quarter cup is going to be over 10, which is fantastic. So I have these little scoopers and it makes it easy. I'm going to add in a little bit more. So at least 2 tablespoons of each of these additional sources of omega-3s, fiber, and protein. And it's just incredible. This is what your children need. This is flaxseed, a nice big scoop of that. And chia seeds. This scoop's a little bit larger. So you can see these are going to thicken up the they're going to thicken up the oats once we start to. And these are hemp hearts. Hemp hearts are way up there, also alkaline with the pumpkin seeds as far as how much protein. But between the protein and the fiber, this is what your children need to keep your blood sugar stable. This is what you need to keep your blood sugar stable. And we know those omega-3 fats to outnumber the omega-6s that are in all of the donuts, breakfast, Danish junk, right? And that's causing a massive amount of inflammation in the cells and destruction that we do not need. Okay, this is cinnamon. I need at least a half a teaspoon. I have this open because I'm just going to eyeball it, just like I like to do. It's fine. Okay, what are we missing? Anything? No. So I keep these are raw pumpkin seeds, and all I do is use my food processor. If you watch me, you know, I mean my coffee grinder. Coffee grinders are great to grind up fresh flax seeds and pumpkin seeds. You get, and that you're going to save over the pumpkin seed protein powders that might have a lot of junk in them. This is perfect, super clean. Instead of paying $35, you pay about $5 for your pumpkin seed, and you get a ton that you can make fresh yourself. It's great. Let's get the cover on this. This is how simple this is. So this is why kids love to get involved with supplements. So now it's going to be smooth. And you're going to judge like, okay, how much more do I want it? That much thicker, not as thick? Do I want to add in more chia, more flax? Because I'm a female and I like the phytoestrogens and the extra fiber, I'm putting in more flax. Okay. We are going to add in more oats. Yeah, but I did want to get in a full cup. So I just added in 2. So I'm going to blend this a little bit more. If you do not have Medjool dates, which I do prefer because of the nutrient compound, it's the vitamins and the minerals. Those are your micronutrients. Those your body recognizes everything. It is synergistically responsive to food sources, whereas with supplements, it's not. We need supplements, but our body knows how to take them from food so much more efficiently. It's going to thicken it up quite a bit. I'll be clear. Okay, so that is nice. Now, if you want to use your 2-cup measure here to dole out into the jars, that's up to you. So let's put one in here, just so you can see, and then simple. This is like in less than 10 minutes you'll have the sun. Now this went from a little bit watery into thick. So this is great. Now what we're going to do in the jars, we're going to add in some more, or you can just add it in here and stir it up, but it's just easier, I found, to add in a full tablespoon to the jars. Okay, let's get that out of the way. I'll clean up after. Now I fill these jars halfway. So this is a full cup. This is really going to fill up. This might be too much for a child. For an adult, that creates a really great late morning meal. After you've had your lemon water in the morning, you may have had some decaf or clean organic coffee. Go easy on the caffeine, of course. You may have had your green smoothie, or you may have broke your fast with some celery juice. Now you really want something to fill up. Now for kids, this could be the perfect amount right here. Let them add the berries that they want when they're bringing it to school to keep it fresh. That way nothing gets moldy. So what we do on the top here now, this is just a 1 tablespoon measure, is I just take a tablespoon. I add in the oats. Where's my other little spoon? Hold on. I didn't want to use the spatula. Then just give this a stir. Now you have some larger pieces of the oats that overnight are going to plump up and absorb extra moisture. Fantastic. Now, like I said, you can freeze this. It will last a couple days in the fridge. You want to use it. It is raw. It's not meant to last a week. That's not the way it works. I'm going to dress one up for you here. And I'm going to eat it myself because I have some beautiful blackberries. And I love, after I'm done my hot yoga, I'm going to get mineral water, or I'm going to get watermelon, but I love blackberries as well. And that black anthocyanins, those are really, really nourishing for your kidneys, which we want to start thinking about, your other filtering organ. And blueberries, of course, those anthocyanins for the brain, nourishing the brain. So I'm going to layer down some blueberries. These blackberries are huge and amazing and gorgeous right now. Now, let me just tidy up a bit. I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you what I love to make on the top of this. So hopefully you can see how fun that can be for kids to get them involved. In the morning, they can load it up with the fruit they want, or the night before. You just don't want to let it sit for days in here. The only one that we're missing is something that's red, so a red berry. Raspberries are super sweet, very low glycemic. So between raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries, so much fun. Now I've got this little snack pack I'm going to eat now that's going to be loaded with plant-rich sources of amino acids, right? Amino acids help you to create tissue repair, to create enzymes, and to help your body work, create neurotransmitters to fuel your brain. This is what the cells need, real food, because our body knows how to do the job. It just gets gunked up from all the processed stuff. Now, what I love topping with is a little bit of crunch. These are raw cacao nibs. Okay, so be careful with too much cacao in one day. That's a lot of extra caffeine, but we like the crunch. Gives you a little bit of straight dopamine. We're always looking for that. Just remember, just like any other drug, caffeine or any dopamine receptor, it needs more and more to get the same effect. That is why in adults, longer fasting times help to offset that, right? You get more of a response from not just your cells and insulin working better, but also that. So look at what we've got here. We've got several jars ready to go. This could last me a whole week. I'll put 2 in the freezer. I don't need this every day. And look for the MALK that's on sale to celebrate our pumpkin spice season. Hope you love this, joining in today. Thanks for joining me here. This is super fun to get the kids involved and to make sure you're having something fun and creative as a breakfast, right? It's so that you start your day with a win. Because if you start your day tired and sluggish, it's going to push through your performance the rest of the day. Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in here at KK's Big Kitchen. Have an amazing day.